football fans, we're moving into week 2 here, and we have the show presented by Whitetail Properties and in cooperation with Riley Tool and Machine, USA Mortgage, Darrick Myers, the Heritage at Marion Golf and Pool, Full Body Fitness Studios, Serena, Dickerson, Farmers Bank and Trust, Curnel Ag, First United Bank, Johnson's Furniture and Appliance, YTG Insurance, Tanner Tabor Agent, Frazer Law Firm, Hodge Sports and Apparel, Seat Plant, Federal Credit Union, Livingston Hospital, a Deaconess affiliate, H&H Home and Hardware, Par 4 Plastics, Deer Lakes Golf Course, and KB Pharmacy. Welcome to the show, Coach Courtney, and of course the offensive coordinator, Mr. Barry here. Oh, I see you got a little eye problem. Did you get hit with a ball today, Austin?
No, this is all stress from Friday.
Stress from Friday. I just noticed you got a little red.
Yeah, stress from Friday.
From last Friday.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, that was should have been a stress-free. You were winning. You won 31. Hey.
It's never stress-free. Yep, never stress-free.
Well, we'll talk a little bit about the bane of his existence here, the stress that he deals with in just a moment. We want to first of all jump in here and talk about Union County and remind folks, if you haven't seen it already, 8:30 p.m. kickoff, trying to beat the heat, if you will. So we'll be on the red eye on Friday night over at Morgan Field. Coach Courtney, let's just jump right into Union County and talk about what they've got coming back. They lost some very quality players. Derek Johns is back. He's been there since 16. They're playing well under him. What are you seeing now? The Johnston boys, Johnson, he's kind of their playmaker, isn't he?
Yeah, he is. Coach Johns and his staff, he's been there a long time, Union County. Born and bred, and does a really good job on that staff. Takes a lot of pride in it. And you can see it with those kids. They've lost a lot, and that was kind of the thing about them. But I never really, drank the Kool-Aid on that they were just going to be down. They're never down. They're a good football team now. I think Jaron Johnson, especially from an offensive perspective, is definitely their best weapon. He's a really good player.
He was hurt last year.
Yeah, he tore. He's everyone expected him to have a big year last year. I believe he's a junior this year, but even as a sophomore, he was definitely going to be a kid you heard about a lot from growing up, and tore his ACL really early into the year, I believe that's what it was. But pretty well season-ending injury.
Without him, they were undefeated until the third round of the playoffs.
Right.
So.
Yeah. Just they've had a great football team, and I still think they're a really good football team. When you win like that, especially, it teaches those younger guys how to do things, and you grow from it and you get better too, and you never know what's under them. And I always assumed that there's pretty good under them, and I think I was right. The William McPeak kid is another kid that plays running back for him. Bigger body, kind of full downhill. He's also a young kid, I believe only a sophomore, but started for him as a freshman. Hurt us in the backfield last year, running the football against us as well. He's a really good two-way player. I really like how he plays. They got some really good players all around, big up front. Got some weapons outside, so just overall a really good football team.
They're always big and strong up front. We know that. Of course, Johnson rushed for 208 yards last week, and McPeaker, as you mentioned, for 71 yards. But it was pretty much the Johnson show, and they beat Madisonville by a touchdown, a team that kind of took us to the woodshed a week earlier.
Yeah, absolutely. And, our kids see that. We know that we didn't play very well versus Madisonville. We got to play a lot better to win this game. And, they came in with Jaron as kind of they played him at quarterback last week. You might not know it by looking necessarily at the stats with all the rushing yards, but not something that they traditionally did, or I think that anyone was necessarily aware of that they were going to do. And the scrimmages, he has always played running back, and they went with another kid. So, that's another thing into the game is where is he going to play? Was that just something they went into the game with and it worked well and they just stuck with it, or is it something they plan on doing all year? I have no idea, but I know we had to prepare for both, and, that changes things a lot. And anytime you got an athlete back there at quarterback, that just is a whole nother dimension. Bad plays, offensive bad plays can become good plays in a hurry once he just gets running around. Some of their best plays I thought was on broken plays where he just took off running and made some things happen just being athletic. So he's going to be an issue, definitely number one thing.
Now, does he get under center, or does he get a shotgun?
He was primarily in the shotgun. I believe every snap that he was in the shotgun. That's not traditional for their offense. So, they're usually I formation team. Now, they'll go some shotgun, but when he was back there, it was straight gun.
just rely on his athleticism to find some zones and go, huh?
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, like I said, I don't know if they went into that game with like this is a package and it just looked really good and they stuck with it, or if it was their whole game plan the whole week. Another quarterback does play in that game, but not at the same time as him. I don't know. He went out a few plays, so it's just early on. I think a lot of people are trying to figure out what's best for their team, just like we are, and I say that they're trying to figure it out too. And they may have found out last week. It was a really good win for them, and obviously he played really well.
Mm-hmm. Union County is kind of been a trouble spot for us. They lead the series. You can go online and look. Andy Hunt does a great job of putting all that stuff online. You can see the history of the matchup. We're 8-28 against Union County. Of course, a couple of those wins though have been in the last 5 years. So we've had a chance to get them.
Right.
And last year they beat us 25-6, and they had, like I said, one of the best teams. I believe I remember them having. And they've had some good ones.
Yeah, last year I remember walking away from that game actually feeling pretty proud of us. I always try to say it's about us and how we do, not necessarily the wins or losses. I thought we fought extremely hard against maybe the best team on our schedule and played them tough.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they ended up wearing us down, obviously, and beating us. But I thought that was a really good game, especially defensively, how well we played, just a few plays here and there. I don't want to talk offensively because Coach Barry may not have felt the same way. But they were a really, really good football team, and we hung in there for a long time with them. I was proud of the guys after last week.
Mm-hmm. Well, let's take just a quick moment to, again, recognize our partners in bringing you all this digital stuff we do for Rocket Football. So we'll take a short break, and we'll be right back. All right, we're back, and we want to begin by looking at, we're just going to break down Union County's offense, and we're going to let Coach Courtney talk a little bit about that, and then we'll look at their defense and let you talk. So we talked a little bit about their offense. What do we have to do against this team to slow them down or stop them if we can?
Well, we got to meet their physicality is the first thing. I think Union County always wants to line up and run the football. They have good athletes, but especially this year, I feel that'll obviously be the number one thing that we have to do is meet their physicality and stop the run. We got to limit the big plays, especially from Darren, especially on broken plays if he is at quarterback, not letting not necessarily a good offensive play turn to a good offensive play for them. We got to kind of keep them contained and keep them in there and try to stop the run the best that we can, and just live to fight other downs. Kind of like I thought we did against Webster. Not necessarily played great defense, but we're able to stop them and limit big plays for the most part, and that's something we'll have to do a better job at this week.
I know you've been a little bit concerned about the linebacking core not catching up to kind of where we were last year. How's that going now?
I thought overall we played pretty decent. I'm the hardest on that group. To me, it's the middle of the defense, and it's the most important. And if you have a really good linebacking core, you're set to have a pretty good defense. So, but I think I expect a whole lot out of those guys. But I think they're progressing pretty well. I thought Bennett played extremely well when he was in there. Gatton Travis and Braden Poindexter both had 9 tackles, which led us in tackles last week. Both played pretty well. Levi Piper had a lot of big plays and just doing his job. He had a job where he wasn't going to make a whole lot of plays, but when he got his opportunity, he did and did a great job doing his job. So overall, I'm proud of the progress that we're making right there. I'm not necessarily concerned. I just know how important it is for those guys to be good, and they'll be tested this week, that's for sure.
And just as important as the edge, we lost the edge a couple of times last week, and they hurt us with some big runs.
Yeah, sometimes the edge is like it may look like they're getting outside, and honestly, when they got outside, we were able to get them to the sideline. It's that gap in between the corner and the center. That's where they're hitting us. Our corner is getting blocked out or maybe giving ground, and they're hitting us right in that seam, and then it hits the sideline. So that's what we got to do a good job, a better job of doing, of keeping those angles, playing with the right angles, and not letting it hit that little crease, letting running backs go wide, stick their foot in the ground, and then get outside. So we got to do a better job doing that. But honestly, I don't believe they won't attack us like that this week. They're going to attack us straight at you. Yeah, that's what I believe that they'll do.
You had some big plays out of some of your defensive guys, special teams guys. Particularly Cameron Belcher. I mean, he the play he made and gets the guy out of bounds on that first play to start the second half. He was 2 yards from scoring and making it and possibly tying the game.
Yeah, and it just shows the effort those guys play. Always he's on the way on the backside, the corner position, and then on the backside of the kickoff too, because he did that twice. He saved us 2 touchdowns. The one play before the half on the long pass, if he's not there, they walk in the end zone and score before the half, and it's tied up going into the half, or maybe within a point. And then on the kickoff, he's the backside and chases it down and gets him down. It's just effort, and that's good to see. That's something we're proud of ourselves. We got to play harder than people. We just have to. That's something that we can control, and I thought he was a great example of that. And ended up being the special teams player of the week because I thought he needed to be rewarded for that. So, Cameron's a really nice player overall, everywhere, honestly. At corner, I think he's been playing really well. At receiver, he's really good. And obviously he helps us on special teams.
Yeah. Austin Berry, talk a little bit about what we're going to see against Union County Friday night as far as their defense, how you feel like they're going to try to attack you guys. And
they're just going to line up and just flat out get after us. Lots said about them losing that just major class that was so good. That's been really good for a long time, but man, they still got some studs. They've got the Amari Black kid, the defensive tackle. He's number 9. Really good, really physical, good with his hands. The William McPeak kid may end up being one of the best linebackers in the area. He's really, really good. And they got George kid, number 3, that's kind of an invert linebacker, kind of hybrid guy that really flies around and gets after you. Everybody's saying they might be down a little bit. I don't see it on the defensive side. They're just going to line up and pin their ears back, and they play hard and physical and aggressive.
It seems like the most of the kids, or at least the ones that I know of that they lost, were skill type kids. A lot of secondary. What are you seeing out of their secondary?
Still good. I forget the kid's name. The number 7 kid, really long, athletic kid. That's a pretty good corner. They've got a kid that plays backup quarterback. I'm not sure his name either, but he's really athletic, good out there.
Schroeder's number 7.
Schroeder's 7, that's right, and then number 6 I think is the other corner. That's one of their quarterbacks that's in the mix, and they're both long and athletic. I mean, they're good-looking kids. Union County's always going to have athletes, and so secondary is never going to be something they're hurting for, and then those kids just step right in and do a good job.
Mm-hmm. So how did you feel? I mean, you had a lot of passing yards last week. Do you feel like that's something you come in? How do you feel about last week and taking that into this week?
There's a lot of talk about being 50-50. I don't really buy into that.
We haven't been 50-50 in a long time.
No, I'm more so like whatever they're giving us, that's what we're going to take. They're going to give us a light box and we're going to run the ball. Union County's not going to give us a light box more than likely, so we're going to have to throw it a little bit more. From the last game, we seemed to be a little bit more efficient, maintaining drives. We kind of shot ourselves in the foot. Part of that was on play calling, maybe being a little bit too aggressive early in the first half of that game, and then part of it's just a little bit of mental focus. We had one guy not doing their job here or there and just kind of shooting their foot, put us behind the sticks in some bad spots. We take care of that. I think we'll at least be able to compete with them pretty well.
Mm-hmm. Of course, Micah Newcomb looked good last week. There were several times he completed 4 or 5 passes in a row. They forced him out. He had to throw some of them away, or his percentage would have been better last week. Can he have a big game against Union County?
Anytime 10's out there, he could always have a big game. As long as he's there, it could throw for 300. He could have 4 or 5 touchdowns. I just can't say enough about Micah, just how good a kid he is. And then his work ethic, not on the practice field, which he works hard there, but just outside of it. He's always asking questions about the game plan. He tells me, do you like this better than how you have it drawn up? And sometimes he's right. Mm-hmm. It's just great to have a kid that's like that. It's easy to work with and can take criticism because I'm hard on him. He comes to the sideline, I'll lay into him a little bit. He just says, yes, sir, and we fix it. And you just can't ask for a better kid to work with.
Well, I'll ask you to talk a little bit about Caden Howard, 145 yards receiving last week. Coach Courtney sometimes doesn't want to blow the family whistle too much, toot the horn. Yeah. But talk a little bit about it. I mean, he's not a secret weapon anymore.
No, he really hasn't been since about the second half of the year last year. We just had Morrison and Nesbitt that kind of take some of those targets away from him. It was just a problem. You can't single him. Even if you put your best player on him, I still feel pretty good one-on-one that we got a shot. So I really think we're going to start seeing a little bit different stuff from defenses. Are you going to put 2 guys over him and help his way? And if not, we're just going to keep going after him.
You know, and you had Gabe Keller caught 3 balls last week, Casey Cates caught 3 balls, and Tyler Belt 3.
Yep, and then Tyler had about 4 rushes attempts
nice,
too.
yeah.
So yeah.
Get the ball in those guys' hands important.
Yeah, just spreading that ball around. All those guys can make plays. Now they're all different. You know, Casey and Keller are probably more possession guys. Tyler can kind of blow the top off the defense, and Caden's more of a go up and get it tight. But there's one football, and I've got 5 or 6 guys that need to touch it. It's tough sometimes, but we did a really good job. Micah did a really good job spreading it around last week.
Caden looked good, at least on one play I recall from last week after the catch, and got some good yards.
Yeah, he's a total package. Just a little bit more, getting a little bit more bigger and stronger where he can break a couple of those and take it to the distance. But, yeah, he's got, for a sophomore, he's about everything you could ask for right now.
Yeah. Well, offense kind of got on track. I thought after maybe the first couple of series. I mean, we scored the first series, but it seemed like we just got better. As the game went on last week, and then I think we wore Webster down too.
And we kind of settled in. The first game. I felt like that first drive we go down, and it's kind of everything that we scripted for the week and had really been practicing. And then we kind of got kind of tight there. They went down and answered, so we're just a little tight. I felt like, and guys just got a little bit nervous for a second. And Coach Courtney did a good job getting them ready to go after half, get that goal line stand, and then from there we just got rolling.
Just took control of the game.
Yeah.
I felt like our energy changed at the goal line. The energy completely changed. You could feel it, and I knew once that stop happened, I knew, all right, we're here to play now. It didn't. I think it wasn't that we weren't focused or ready. I thought we were, but it was just a different feeling. We're ready to go. You could tell we're ready to go. It got us going.
Kind of 2 or 3 times you got in the red zone, and one time very deep, and then just didn't get anything out of it. And that kind of takes the wind out of your sails a little bit. But then you turned around and got that turnover after the one, and punched it back in right away, and that was big.
That was big.
So let's talk just a little bit about. I'll tell you what I want to do. First of all, Austin, I jotted this down in my notes. I'm going to give you a word. And you tell me on your offense who fits that bill. Only might be a couple of kids. Let's go poised, the guy that's calm in the face of excitement.
It's got to be Superman, number 10.
Yeah,
it's got to be.
Clearly.
Yep, it's him.
Yeah. What about the burner? A burner.
That had to be Tyler Belt.
Tyler Belt.
Yep.
He's got some wheels. He's set the all-time or the single-season stolen base record last year in baseball by a lot. Of course, I will remind you that Matt Gent held it. And if Matt Gent, he doesn't look like a base stealer, but he did. He's pretty crafty. He's pretty crafty. Sleeper. Who's your sleeper?
Sleeper. Maybe Cameron. He's a guy that's not in that first group.
Belcher?
Yes, Cameron Belcher. Not in that first group, but he's just as good as those guys. He's just a year younger, and if he gets a couple more touches in a game, he's going to kind of open some eyes.
Coach Courtney, let's talk just a little bit about this heat, how you're going to manage it. There's some KHSAA mandates about how you have to manage that heat. If I remember, I think, if the temperature is 90 degrees and the humidity 60, you get a 100 reading on your heat index, and that's kind of in a red zone. They have a chart they put out, and you have to provide water, take helmets off. What do you have to do? Or what point can we play on that heat index?
Yeah, 99 heat index is when we can play. Still might be some water and extra water breaks and things like that, but we can play at 99. And this week we've not been close, most of the week, especially during practice time. 112s, 114, been reading just extremely high. You can be outside from 100 to 104 with a lot of restrictions, no equipment, basically walking through outside. But we were able to do that today at the very end of practice, which helped with spacing at least. When you're in a gym all week, I mean, that's just tough. It's not a football field. The spacing's all messed up, especially with special teams. We're able to get some special team stuff in, just walking through and seeing the whole field and stuff like that. But, yeah, it's been a tough week. But I will say this week I'm extremely proud of our guys. Man, we've came to practice inside. We didn't take it as off days or, it's just hot and we're just going to walk through. We've been practicing inside as normal and really had some really good work and feel really good about what we're able to do inside.
I guess the good news is everybody's having to do the same thing. So.
Yeah, we talked about going early morning practice. I've seen a lot of people going at 6 a.m. Obviously, some people have indoor stuff or whatever, however they need to work it or can work it out. But it just wasn't going to work. We were going to miss too many guys coming to practice, just making a 6 a.m. practice work. So, we made the best of it. I feel really fine about the preparation. Obviously, we'd love to be outside, but it is what it is. And I think we did a good job handling it this week.
Any chance you'll get outside Thursday evening? Is it still
I've heard not much of a chance for tomorrow, which I hate for special teams. It's so much about space and field and all those things. So we're really just going to focus in, maybe even watch some video, going to really think about it and talk to the coach about how we'll handle special teams being inside. We're just really going to be focused and really lock in there and pay attention about where we're at.
And this will change your preparation, your pregame stuff, because you're gonna typically these guys maybe leave school for just a minute, grab something to eat, come right back, get on the bus, and head out. Right. Here you're going to have an hour and a half delay. So what do you got planned there?
We just plan on pushing everything back to where it normally would be, just the game time. So we normally want to be there about 2 hours before kickoff. So we're going to 8:30. We plan to be there about 6:30. Could possibly change with the special teams and how it goes tomorrow. If I don't feel real good about it, I may bump that up a little bit so we can walk out on that field and maybe have a light special teams. Not practice, obviously, but at least a walk through special teams, even on their field, just so we can, kind of be in routine with what we always do each week. So that'll kind of depend on how tomorrow goes exactly, but pretty well try to keep it the same. I don't want to change a lot of things up for the kids, with already changing the heat or already changing the time of kickoff. So,
yeah. Any way this affects anything negatively or positively for you, being a little later like that, other than just it obviously being cooler than it would be?
Yeah, not that I can think of. I wouldn't think one way or the other it should affect us. Everyone's got to do the same thing. So.
Now, of course, next week we have a Thursday game because that's an officiating situation. Just so few officials right now. They're going to move our game. And any games that are not in conference, a lot of times are the ones that are going to get popped out, or in district are going to get popped out for a Thursday or Saturday. And that game, if it was a Thursday night and you're starting at 8:30, it could be problematic for you because the kid's not having to get to school the next morning.
Or if the distance was traveled, like if we were playing at Fulton or something like that, that's a whole different ball game at 8:30 kickoff and getting back real late at night and all that. But I think it'll be fine. I think they made the right decision too. I think they were concerned not necessarily about the game kickoff time it being under 99, but warm-ups, we can't even warm up if it's over 99. So they really were concerned about getting warm-ups in that time. And I think they were right looking at it. And they were doing it more for us, I think, than them. So we weren't over there sitting, waiting to play in a hot gym or whatever. And
getting over there and delaying.
Yeah, and just keep delaying. So we'd rather push it back, and we feel pretty good about the 8:30 start. So it was their decision, but I think they made the right decision. I was happy with it.
Yeah. Well, let's have some closing remarks then. We'll start with Austin. Anything, any injuries, anything that we should be aware of in Rocket Nation on your side of the ball?
I'm assuming you talked about Tyree already.
I have not.
Tyree McLean got a shoulder. I'm not exactly sure what it was. But was it 4 to 6 weeks, something like that?
Yeah, maybe 4 to 6, 4 to 7. It broke his shoulder, had a break in his shoulder. Dove for a tackle last week. We've been kind of working it out. Kind of didn't know exactly. We knew it was broke pretty as soon as the X-ray got back on Friday night, but didn't know to what extent or whatever. It actually came back to be at least the more positive of what we thought it could be. Yeah, so. It's golly, he's such a good player too. He is really, really good.
And he caught a pass on offense last week too.
Big pass, made a lot of plays on defense. Honestly, he's probably, he could be a two-way starter for us easily. And it helps on every special teams. It's a big blow. One of our best players without a doubt. But he took it really positive. I just hate it because he just came back and getting into it, playing really well, and then he gets hurt. It's just bad luck or whatever, but I just hate it for him. But he's handled it really well, really positive. Said he'll be back better than ever, and just been there at practice and just excited to get back. So hopefully we get him back in 4 weeks. We'll see what happens, and we'll go on from there.
Anything else, you got?
No, I'm just ready to get over there.
Ready to get
Maybe
going.
I won't be as stressed out this Friday as I was last Friday. I would say I will be though. So.
Can you eat on game days? Coach Starnes never could eat on game days.
I'm not a big breakfast eater. But I usually pig out at lunch, and then I won't eat supper. So as long as I got Mountain Dew, I'm good. Just keep me caffeinated, and I'll be all right.
Coach Courtney, closing comments. Union County's going to be a tough out for us.
Yeah. Good.
Every week's going to be a tough
It
out.
is, yeah. That's where we're going to be at for sure. Yeah, just come out and support us. It's a mortal rivalry. It's always a tough fight game, I believe, and I don't expect anything different from this game. I think it'll be a tough fight football game on both sides. Later kickoff, so hopefully it's cool for everybody. Tickets will be on GoFan, just as they were last week. They will have a card reader at the door as well. So if you don't get it online, you can pay there with your card, but no cash at the gate, so they want to be sure. And I believe they said gates will open at 7 o'clock, so not before that.
I do want to, we'll try to every week to feature a couple of our partners and bringing you all of our coaches shows and the post-game stuff. So tonight we're going to talk about Mulligan's, the Heritage Golf and Pool out there. You know, they host your golf tournament every year, and you know, it's just they have all kinds of stuff out there. Billiards, they have the swimming pool, they've got darts. You can walk. You know, if you're in fitness, you can walk around the golf course. But I mentioned disc golf and regular golf, and you know, it's just a great asset for the community to have that. And there's a story in the paper actually this week. It's for sale. You know, we need to, you know, calling on Rocket Nation, get out there and support this facility because we need it. You know, we need it in the worst way. So, you know, it's been there since 1966, and times are just getting tough, and people don't do some of this stuff anymore. You know, we can't lose. We can't keep losing things. So.
No, I 100% agree.
Yeah.
So we need to support them.
Yeah. And, of course, Full Body Fitness Studio, Serena Dickerson.
Yeah.
You know that gal.
Yep.
Yeah, I told you, she means a great deal to the program.
Yeah, we spend the whole thing talking about the whole episode on everything she did or does. Right now, she's working with flag football. As we left, we had to leave her up there getting the teams picked and concession stand and feeding the boys and fundraisers and anything I might need. Little league schedules, flag football. I mean, she's from K through 12, helping in every part of the program. Without her, I don't know what we do. I really don't. She means a whole lot to me personally and to the program. She just cares about it too. I mean, just cares about it as much about Rocket football as anybody I ever met. Just absolutely loves it. So,
because her boys played, but they're gone, and she's still we just keep pulling her in every year, don't you?
One more year.
Well, I tell you, it's important to have people like that behind the scenes, and she does a great job. And again, she's a personal trainer at Full Body Fitness Studio. It's out at her home. She has a barn out there, and it's air conditioned, I think, or it's climate controlled. I know they would be. I've been out there in the wintertime. But you know, she goes to the Senior Citizen Center. She goes out to the nursing home and does you know, just free stuff out the nursing home. Helps those folks in their wheelchair, whatever. And then I think every Monday she's over at the Senior Center. So you know, she and out at her classes, you know, I think there's all the way up to 80-year-olds out there. She says, you know, it helps the older people get to the floor and play with their grandkids and be able to bend over and do dishes. I know that kills me. Y'all have to do dishes at your house? I do. No, and it hurts my back.
To be honest.
Yeah, well, I do a whole lot of dishes, and if Allison says anything different, I will contradict. But you know, it just or gardening, you know, whatever, you know, it keeps you in shape, and she does a great job at that. And we want to shout out to not only Serena Dickerson, all she does for football, but her business, and then Mulligan's, the Heritage Golf and Pool out there. This means so much to the community. So, all right, thank you guys. Friday night, 8:30 kickoff. You can grab a little dinner before this one, you know, 8:30, and then have a snack when you get home at midnight. So we'll see you over at Morganfield. Get ready for the Braves.